class, we shall take up the remaining portion of the chapter The Thief's Story, page number 10. Let's read the three questions first. Question number 1. How does the thief think Anil will react to the theft? Question number 2. What does he say about the different reactions of people when they are robbed? Question number 3. Does Anil realize that he has been robbed of? Okay, let's read the chapter and eventually we will answer the questions. Now, till this point we have seen that the thief Hari Singh by now has made up his mind to rob Anil off, and he wants to take the money and leave the place. Let's see what happens. Anil was asleep. A beam of moonlight stepped over the balcony and fell on the bed. I sat up on the floor, considering the situation. If I took the money, I could catch the 10:30 express to Lucknow. Slipping out of the blanket, I crept up to the bed. Anil was sleeping peacefully. His face was clear and unlined. Even I had more marks on my face, though mine were mostly scars. Underline the last line. His face was clear and unlined. Even I had more marks on my face, though mine were mostly scars. Okay, so far this thief has made up his mind to steal money from Anil and is again thinking that what can he do after he has taken the money. The last line of this paragraph, this is symbolic. This not only means the literal unkempt face of the thief and the maintained face of Anil, but it also means that Anil here represents the face of purity, and this boy Hari Singh, his face here refers to the face of deceit. Someone who is breaking trust. Deceit here means cheating. My hand slid under the mattress, searching for the notes. When I found them, I drew them out without a sound. Anil sighed in his sleep and turned on his side towards me. I was startled and quickly crawled out of the room. He took the money, Hari Singh took the money, and then he started crawling out of the room, crawling on all the fours. When I was on the road, I began to run. I had the notes at my waist, held there by the string of my pajamas. I slowed down to walk and counted the notes, 600 rupees in 50s. I could live like an oil-rich Arab for a week or two. So here, how much amount does he get? He gets 600 rupees, and each note was of 50 rupees. So here, in total 600 rupees. And he says that for a week or for maybe 2 weeks he can live a lavish life. Next page. When I reached the station, I did not stop at the ticket office. I had never bought a ticket in my life, but dashed straight to the platform. The Lucknow Express was just moving out. The train had still not picked up speed, and I should have been able to jump into one of the carriages, but I hesitated for some reason I can't explain, and I lost the chance to get away. So what happened here? Something in him held him. Something in Hari Singh, it held him from boarding the train, and he could not board but stayed there glued on the platforms. When the train had gone, I found myself standing alone on the deserted platform, empty platform. I had no idea where to spend the night. I had no friends, believing that the friends were more trouble than help. So Hari Singh thought that friends, rather than helping, they would create more mess. So it's better to have no friends. So he had no place to go back after he had taken money from Anil and he was at the station. And I did not want to make anyone curious by staying at one of the small hotels near the station. The only person I knew really well was the man I had robbed. Leaving the station, I walked slowly through the bazaar. So he has left the station and then thinking that where should I go, to whom should I go, and the only person I know is Anil. But can I go back to him? Can I? He kept on thinking because he was the only person whom he knew, but he was also the same person whom he had robbed. Next part. In my short career as a thief, I had made a study of men's faces when they had lost their goods. In my short career here refers that this man Hari Singh was not never was a thief for a very long period of time, but maybe it was just the starting of his career of a thief. So he says that in my short career, I have made some studies over how the people react when they are robbed. This part is important. You will underline. The greedy man showed fear. The rich man showed anger. The poor man showed acceptance. But I knew that Anil's face when he discovered the theft would show only a touch of sadness, not for the loss of money, for the loss of trust. Please underline this part. Entire part, right from the greedy till loss of trust. This part is important. He says that a greedy man will be afraid that okay, if this much is lost, even more can get lost. Rich man will show anger. He'll be angry that how can someone take my money, because he's not bothered about how much money has gone. He's bothered that how can someone take the money, because he already has plenty. The poor man showed acceptance. The poor man, okay, I had this much, now even this is gone, I'll have to start from scratch. So he'll accept. But this boy Anil, he was different. The thief knew that Anil, on discovering that his money was gone, he will understand, and the servant is also gone, the boy Hari Singh is also gone. So he will understand that Hari Singh has only taken the money, but then he will not feel sad for the loss of the money, because he is careless. He is not so much thinking about the money, because we have seen that he earns by fits and starts. Today he is spending lavishly, tomorrow he will be borrowing it from someone. So he has that kind of a life. But then here what happens, he knows, the thief knows that once Anil discovers that he has been robbed of, he will not be unhappy because the money is gone, but because the trust which he had on the thief, which he had on Hari Singh, that will be broken forever, and it will be for that that he'll feel sad. I found myself in Maidan and sat down on a bench. The night was chilly. It was clearly November. The light drizzle added to my discomfort. Soon it was raining quite heavily. My shirt and pajamas stuck to my skin, and a cold wind blew the rain across my face. So here he was sitting there thinking what to do. It started raining. It was month of November and it started raining, and now because it started raining, he got wet. So it means even the notes which he had tucked in his pajamas, even that got wet. Page number 12. I went back to the bazaar and sat down in the shelter of clock tower. The clock showed midnight. I felt for the notes. They were damp from the rain. Anil's money in the morning, he would probably have given me 2 or 3 rupees to go to the cinema. But now I had it all. I could not cook his meals, run to the bazaar, or learn to write whole sentences anymore. While he was sitting on a bench, he kept pondering over the things which he will not have to do now when he is not with Anil. First, he'll be relieved from cooking. He will not have to go to the bazaar for any grocery shopping. And the most important and the thing which affected him was that he will not be able to learn any sentences. Now, this is the point when the thief Hari Singh realizes that once he is away from this boy Anil, it is not only that he gets relief from the work, but it is also the loss of an opportunity which he had to learn numbers and words which could help him become a better man tomorrow. That will also be lost. So this is the moment of realization. Hence the theme of self-realization comes here. I had forgotten about them in the excitement of theft. Whole sentences I knew could one day bring me more than a few hundred rupees. It was a simple matter to steal, and sometimes just as simple to be caught. But to be a really big man, a clever and respected man, was something else. I should go back to Anil, I told myself, if only to learn to read and write. So what was the only thing which urged him to go back? Was it his thinking that okay, Anil will feel that his trust has been broken? No, it was not that. It was his greed, his want, his desire to learn numbers and words so that he could one day become a better man. Now, what happens when somebody becomes a better man with numbers and words? The answer will be that but to be a really big man, a clever, respected man. So he understood that if somebody who can read and write can have a good status in the society, will be a respectable man. A thief has no respect in the society, but somebody who can read and write and make a living in a proper way, in a good dignified manner, is always considered good in the society. He is respected, because at the end of the day everybody longs for respect, isn't it? So here even the thief is longing for that respect, and it is due to this reason that he wants to go back. I hurried back to the room feeling very nervous, for it is much easier to steal something than to return it undetected. Obviously, for example, if you have taken a pencil from somebody's pocket, it is easy to take it out unnoticed, but then to keep it back in the same place, it is very difficult. I opened the door quietly, then stood in the doorway in clouded moonlight. Anil was still asleep. I crept to the head of the bed and my hand came up with the notes. I felt his breath on my hand. I remained still for a minute. Then my hand found the edge of the mattress and slipped under it with the notes. So what happened here? He came, he tried to keep back the notes. He could feel Anil's breath and he could understand that Anil is sleeping, but and he tried to keep it without being detected, without being caught. I woke late next morning to find that Anil had already made tea. He stretched out his hand towards me. There was a 50-rupee note between his fingers. My heart sank. I thought I had been discovered. So what happens? In the morning he wakes up late. Anil had already made tea, and the morning when he wakes up, he sees that Anil gives him a 50-rupee note, and Hari Singh thinks that, okay, I think my theft has been caught and I am going to be punished for this. I made some money yesterday, he explained. Now you will be paid regularly. Underline this line. This is a point again of self-realization for Anil. He understands that I have been giving only food to this boy, food and shelter, but no money, because everybody even if you have food and shelter and clothing, you need some pocket money, isn't it? Everybody nowadays needs pocket money to buy stuffs, to have things. So here he understands that it has been his mistake of not paying Hari Singh, due to which he robbed him. So he says that now you will get a 50 rupee every month, maybe you will get regularly. My spirits rose, but when I took the note, I saw it was still wet from the night's rain. He got very happy that, oh wow, now without doing any mischievous activity, any notorious activity, I'll be paid. So he got happy, but then the moment he took the note in his hand, he understood that it is damp, and Anil must have understood that something has happened to the notes and it has come back to the place. Today we will start writing sentences, he said. Anil now, without talking about the incident, without asking how the money got wet, anything, he directly says that today we will start writing sentences. He knew, but neither his lips nor his eyes showed anything. I smiled at Anil in my most appealing way, and the smile came by itself without any effort. So Anil, he is not pointing out the mistake and thus giving him a chance to make a better future for himself. So here what do we see? That here Anil, instead of taking him to the police or instead of punishing him, is giving him a chance. If we think of a regular occasion, somebody who is good at heart but has to do something which is wrong. Now if we punish that person for being guilty, it maybe will not serve the purpose. It will make him bitter. It will make him more bitter. But then if the person excuses that person and does not punish him, but just let the things go away, what happens? That particular thief or the guilty, he takes a lesson from that okay, I have been spared, because that person is good at heart. It's not that he is bad at heart. He has that stealing thing in him imbibed. He doesn't have that. It is out of the necessity which he is doing, which even he doesn't want to do. So if he is given a chance, he will definitely try to become a better person rather than going into such notorious activity. Now Hari Singh, the last line, he gives the smile, and its smile comes by itself. it represents containment and relieved attitude, the relieved nature, or the satisfaction which is dawned upon this man, Hari Singh. Therefore, the thief's story, is about his self realization and his transformation. Now, come back to the question on page number 10. How does the thief think Anil will react to theft? What he says, that Anil will feel unhappy, not because of loss of money, but because of the loss of trust. What does he say about different reactions of people when they are robbed? In the paragraph there you have where he says, greedy man shows fear, rich man is angry, and poor man shows acceptance. So that is the answer. Does Anil realize? Yes, he realizes, but then he says nothing. Okay, so this is the